JustInformed.com is a social media site that doesn't steal your data, doesn't block you, doesn't shadow ban you. It's just what you want. A place where you get information, where you converse with friends, make new acquaintances, and learn things that you want to learn. Go to JustInformed.com, become a member, tell them Tim Black sent you. A website, the way social media should be. Thank you guys for tuning in, guys. All right. What are we doing here? Welcome to the Coffee Show. Coffee with Tim Black. Coffee with Tim Black. That's right. All right, I'm ready. I hope you're ready. I hope you guys are ready. My name is Tim Black. Welcome to Coffee with Tim Black, your news source during the week, where you go when you want to have a hot cup of Java and kick it, news style, with what's going on in the news cycle. That coffee's actually getting cold, man. I've been up here doing my job for quite some time this morning, trying to get stories together and check out what's happening in our world so I can bring it to you. And gosh, guys, it is crazy. Kavanaugh seems to be the news, and luckily for me, Donald Trump has added to this conversation in such a way that I'm actually chomping at the bit to talk about it. But before we get into it, let me go make sure everybody's on board. We got Periscope, we got Facebook, we got YouTube. So let's see what we're doing here with our YouTube people. Let's get them connected real quick. YouTube's connected, and then we go to Facebook to see if Facebook's in the house. Moonchild, how you doing? Red Syrup, Pyramid 7, Intricate Knot, Jilly Love. Welcome, Mars, Pluto, Zanga, Mr. Broken Ass, and Hipster World. Thank you. All right. Now, look, guys. We got... Oh, Helen Ford's in the house. Hey, Helen, how you doing? Yeah, Sarah Elliott. Let me check real quick and see if we're getting Periscope. My Periscope for some reason seems like it doesn't want to do its thing. Yeah, something's up with Periscope. Something's up with Periscope. It's not me, man. The audio bit rate's too high. So it keeps telling me. So, guys, there's nothing I can do with Periscope. Periscope people, you're not hearing this because, well, they won't work on Periscope now for some reason. It's crazy because I didn't change it. So Periscope needs to step up their game, guys. So as we know tonight, it's Freedom Friday, right? You guys do know it's Freedom Friday, right? Now, Freedom Friday is at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Freedom Friday is exactly what it is. It sounds exactly what it is. Freedom. The freedom for you to call up and you get to speak your mind on whatever topic that concerns you. That's what Freedom Friday has been for the last 3 years. That's what people call up. And I look forward to having you there to express your points of view. People call in from all over the country and all over the world. A lot of international callers we've received over the years. So be a part of it. Tune in tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to do that. And...
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
And Brian Williams. Aloha, Brian. How you doing? Sarah Elliott called, and you tell me. I asked him. I don't know what that's about. Helen Ford said, just a reminder, there's no censorship on www.justinformed.com. When registering, submit your registration always using your real name and a valid email. You may choose any username at the time you register, but your credentials must be valid. Admitted members are protected knowing others joining are not bots. So that's a very important point. Very important point. Thank you, Helen Ford, because people have asked, like, Tim, why do we have to be checked out? Because people love the idea that people have been vetted. And I don't mean we look at your credit score. And I don't mean we drive by your house, go through your garbage. What I mean is you're a real person. You're not, look, as someone who was attacked by many bots back during the 2016 election cycle, I'm really tired of dealing with those fake people, okay? So they actually are all across the internet. I don't know if you know that or not. Sometimes you'll be upset with somebody, it won't even be a person, y'all. It'll be a bot, a computer simulated thing that's got these words they're going to say to piss you off or mislead you, right? So we do our best to combat botism or bots and trolls, not people trolls, bot trolls. So anyway, go to justinform.com and you'll find out why. All right, it's much better. At least if you're just, look, I'm okay with somebody not liking me, but be a real person. I'm okay if we disagree on something, but let the person be a real human being, not a, piece of code that's paid for by some think tank or some political campaign or some CIA operative.
I didn't know I couldn't do that.
So anyway, all right, guys, so look, check this out now. Yes, we're here. We're talking about what the world is talking about, and that's the confirmation hearings, the hearings for Brett Kavanaugh, who was nominated, chosen by Donald Trump to become Supreme Court Justice. And we all know about the fallout that has ensued since an accuser came forward and said, hey, Brett Kavanaugh did something to me. He assaulted me back when we were in high school, and I want to come forward about it. I want people to know that this is the type of man that you're about to put in this very powerful position. And I'm not going to sit back and let that happen. Now, people are saying, Tim, there's political motivations behind it. And I give you that every day. I give it to you 7 days a week, twice on Sundays. All right? I give it to you because I understand there's a political motivation. Is it possible somebody can have a political motivation and the people can have a political motivation, but there also be something to the allegations? I think it's possible. I think it's possible two things can exist at once. You know? So as we were going back and forth on this, it looks like there were going to be a testimony on Monday by the accuser, Christine Ford. Brett Kavanaugh said he would attend. It was still up in the air if Christine Ford would attend. And now, today I wake up and there is more to this. And the hits just keep on going. They just keep going, guys. I said, okay, buddy, so here we are. It is what it is, right? I get it. Maybe there are some of us still trying to kind of wrap our heads around it. I know I'm trying to wrap my head around it, but the comments made today by Donald Trump, to me, they are a big deal. So let me see if I can find those comments. I want to read them to you. I think they're here. Let me move this up, guys. Check this out. All right. Donald Trump sent this tweet out this morning, 9:14. I have no doubt that if the attack on Dr. Ford was as bad as she says, charges would have been immediately filed with local law enforcement authorities by either her or her loving parents. I ask that she bring those filings forward so that we can learn date, time, and place. Date, time, and place is what Donald Trump says we need. And in this tweet, if you look at it, it's asking, hey, why didn't you tell somebody? I have no doubt that if the attack on Dr. Ford was as bad as she says, which is insinuating it wasn't bad, charges would have been immediately filed with local law enforcement. All right, so the response, and as you can see in this tweet by Donald Trump, you can see that a lot of people retweeted this. We're talking about 16,000 retweets, 61,000 likes. And there were, if I remember correctly, there were about 40,000 comments. 40,000 comments. Which is a lot of comments. From a tweet, that's a lot of comments, guys. So there was fallout, obviously, from Donald Trump's comments because some people felt that this was being insensitive. Some people felt that there are a lot of reasons why women may not report to the police if they're sexually assaulted. Because people were upset that Donald Trump obviously doesn't get that. Let's see if we can find a hashtag. We do have a hashtag here, don't we? Let me go to the home page. Maybe I can find it that way. Let's just do this all in real time. It should be still trending. It's still trending. You know, it's almost 3 o'clock, and this has been trending since then, at least. Okay, so here goes the hashtag, guys. And if you're at work and you've been unable to see this, this is important that I share it with you, so you'll know what we're talking about. Check this out. So the hashtag is this. Hashtag why I didn't report is the hashtag. And if you look at this hashtag, there are hundreds and hundreds of comments by women explaining why they did not report sexual misconduct or rape or molestation or all these, a range of horrible things that happened to them. Why they didn't report them to law enforcement, why they may not have told their parents, why they may not have told anyone. If you read through the tweets, and some of these tweets are from people that I know, I don't want to read the tweets. I want you to read the tweets, but I don't want to read the tweets because they are personal in nature. Okay? These are people, some of them I know, talking about instances that occurred in their lives where they are taken advantage of, raped, molested, sometimes by a family member, sometimes by a friend, and for whatever reason, they didn't feel safe enough or secure enough to report it. Now, I encourage you to go to Twitter and read it for yourself. All I'm telling you is, it is heart-wrenching what you'll read. Now, look, I say all of this, I'm reporting on this, but you know me, I'm a commentator. I speak my mind on these issues. I want to tell you that it's important that we understand that this is just not about Brett Kavanaugh. Brett Kavanaugh is a well-to-do man, white man in this country who's doing well for himself, and he will do well regardless. Okay? The caping that I see for Brett Kavanaugh has me wondering like why people caping so hard for him. I don't particularly like him from what I've seen of him. Kamala Harris may very like work with him. He wasn't very honest and forthcoming. I also don't know Christine Ford. I heard her story, and it sounds horrible. I have a daughter, I have a wife, I have a sister, I have a mother. You know, any person with feelings doesn't want to hear a story of a woman being taken advantage of. I don't care if they had a couple drinks or whatever, right? So, like on both sides, I don't know what to think about who's wrong or right. All I know is for people to act like they don't understand that there are many reasons why a woman might not tell something. Just don't understand how the world works. And there are some women who act as if they don't understand why a woman might not tell. And the horrible thing about it is, I believe that some of these women have had things happen to them that they have never told. But their distaste for Donald Trump or their distaste for the Democratic Party has them equally blind. They're blind on both sides. We got blind people all over this thing. Look, hey, you're both wrong. Both things can exist. You could be wrong if you're saying, well, I support Kavanaugh being pushed through and they're just doing this as a stumbling block, and you totally ignore that this could be a thing, a real thing that happened, and that you're blowing that off like that doesn't matter. It should matter. And of course, there are going to be people that take that very personally because they've had personal experiences that relate them to that issue. Okay? And if you're someone who just says, well, the Democrats, Brett Kavanaugh should be fed to the dogs and to the wolves without having any information other than what she stated, no times, no dates, it leaves it kind of like, okay, maybe we should look further into it. But how much further should we go? I don't know. But to not acknowledge that the Democratic Party has a vested interest, that there is politics at play here, at the end of the day, this is one of the reasons why politics is so sticky and so horrible on so many levels. Folks, this is one reason, all right, is that you really don't know. You really don't know what you don't know, all right? You really can't know what you don't know. But what you do know is that everything is going to be played for what it's worth. Donald Trump just said he didn't know why a woman wouldn't tell cops. There are things that happen all the time that we don't tell cops. I remember I got rear-ended by a Metro bus when I was in my 20s. Totally different scenario, right? I'm not equating the fact that I got back problems now from being rear-ended by a Metro bus. I'm not equating that to Miss Ford. What I'm saying is the reason why I did not report that to the cops is because I didn't have car insurance at the time. I shouldn't have been driving. I was more worried about that. And he hit me. He got out of his Metro bus. He walked around to my car door and he said, "Hey man, you okay? I'm sorry. I didn't see you." It was at a light. He ran into me at a light. It was my biggest payday opportunity and I could not take advantage because I didn't have car insurance. I was afraid they'd be like, "Hey, what are you doing driving? You ain't got no insurance." My insurance had lapsed, which, by the way, I think is a racket anyway. You don't get money back if you don't use your car insurance. My point is this. I have a perfectly good reason why I did not report the Metro bus driver who was probably intoxicated when he rear-ended me at a traffic light, a red one. But in a situation where we're talking about sex, we're talking about men and women, and we're talking about people's minds, they always seem to think of the woman that lies through her teeth about any allegation is actually a paid sex worker just trying to hurt a good old boy, a good young man, a strapping young man with a bright future. No one ever thinks of it the other way. They just don't. They always look through it rose-colored glasses at the guy that never did anything wrong. And I'm sure that guy existed who got shafted. And I'm absolutely sure that guy does exist who got shafted. All right? But what also does exist are thousands and thousands of women who didn't report for various reasons. And we need to focus on making that a more rare instance where people feel comfortable sharing their stories and bringing people to justice. And we just haven't been able to do that in this country. We haven't been able to do that for women in general, and we definitely haven't been able to do that for black women. So, anyway. So now let's move back to the story. Let's go back specifically to this story, to this issue in itself, okay? Because we don't want to go too far, Tim Black. There you go, Tim Black. You're going too far in the weeds? All right. I found this interesting. I found it on Real Clear Politics. And I'm not going to tell you I got all the answers about what's going on with this story, but I want to share this because I think it's interesting as far as they have this panel of people. And in this panel, they're discussing this whole incident. GOP voters on Kavanaugh. What boy hasn't done this in high school?
More now in tonight's top story, what Christine Blasey Ford's legal team wants as conditions for her testimony against Brett Kavanaugh. They want Thursday as the date, not to have Judge Kavanaugh in the room with her at the same time, and questioning by senators, not outside counsel. Of course, the question hanging over all of this will be about credibility and believability. Randy Kay spoke with a group of Republican women in Florida.
A show of hands, how many of you believe Judge Kavanaugh when he says this didn't happen?
I believe him.
I do believe him.
I believe him.
How can we believe the word of a woman or something that happened 36 years ago when this guy has an impeccable reputation? There was nobody that has spoken ill will about him. Everyone that speaks about him, this guy's an altar boy, a scout. He's, because one woman made an allegation. Sorry, I don't buy it.
But in the grand scheme of things, my goodness, there was no intercourse. There was maybe a touch.
Right.
Can we really? 36 years later, she's still stuck on that? Had it happened?
I mean, we're talking about a 15-year-old girl, which I respect. I'm a woman, I respect. And we're talking about a 17-year-old boy in high school with testosterone running high. Tell me what boy hasn't done this in high school. Please, I would like to know.
Why would she come forward if this wasn't true? Because it has basically destroyed her family. She's had to move, she's gone undercover, she's gotten death threats. So if she's lying, why come forward?
She's also destroying his life, his wife's lives, his children's lives, his career. I mean, why didn't she come out sooner if she's telling the truth?
Why didn't she come out when he was going into the Bush White House? Why didn't she come out when he's been a federal judge for over a decade?
Why not have a thorough investigation instead of just the two of them, he said, she said?
Because it doesn't matter. It does not matter what everyone else has to say.
This is what happened, though, with Clarence Thomas and Anita Hill. The FBI investigated. It took 3 days. Done. Why not now?
Well, this is not the same. This is a high school kid. I mean, it's not Anita Hill story.
Does something that allegedly happened some 30-plus years ago matter today?
You can't judge the character of a man based on what he did at 17.
And I would hate to think that 30, 40 years later, somebody's going to destroy your life because somewhere at some party, it's not right, but maybe you touch somebody the way you were not supposed to.
And who brought the alcohol for these kids?
As women, though, do you have some sympathy for her, for what she's going through?
No, I have no sympathy. And perhaps maybe at that moment she liked him, and maybe he didn't pay attention to her afterwards, and he went out with another girl, and she got bitter, or whatever the situation is. They're kids.
If it is true, would it be okay with you if he became a justice on the Supreme Court?
As long as that's an isolated incident, yes.
He was 17. He was not even an adult. And we all made mistakes at 17. I believe in a second chance.
Wow, 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 wow. Wow, man. I'm trying to tell you, man, what she say? What did one of the women say? What high school boy hasn't, tried to take off a woman's clothes in a room and put his hand over her mouth so she can't scream and only gets stopped because a friend jumps on him and stops him? Who amongst us hasn't done that? Look, that's the story. Look, it's better if you just say you don't believe the story happened, not try to act like this is regular-ish. It's not regular-ish. Yeah, it's not. At least I hope not. I'm going to talk to my son and make sure it's not regular-ish that guys are doing this. But I do like the fact that one woman did bring up the fact that, where did the alcohol come from? Why do these 15 and 17-year-olds have access to all this booze? So that is important. I think that's an important point to make. It doesn't stop there. It does not stop there, folks. Ever since Donald Trump has chimed in on this, President Trump fired off his tweets earlier this morning, as you noticed, as I reported earlier. And now the radical left lawyers, he also said this. He said the radical left lawyers want the FBI to get involved now. Now is capitalized. Why didn't someone call the FBI 36 years ago? On Friday, the president also claimed that Kavanaugh is under assaulted by radical left-wing politicians. Radical left-wing politicians. So who are these radicals? I don't know who the radicals are. Judge Brett Kavanaugh is a fine man with an impeccable reputation. You just heard the lady say the same thing. He's got an impeccable reputation. Until he doesn't have an impeccable reputation anymore. That's how it works. It's impeccable until someone makes an allegation, and then it's no longer impeccable. It's under assault by radical left-wing politicians who don't want to know the answers. They just want to destroy and delay. Facts don't matter. I go through this with them every single day in D.C., Trump wrote. God, that was hard, man. Chuck Grassley, Republican of Iowa, declined an earlier request by Ford to have the FBI investigate an allegation against Kavanaugh. The FBI has included the allegation in Kavanaugh's background file and is not opening any additional probes at this time, although the president could theoretically direct the FBI to undertake further review. The president said he trusts the Senate to do its job. So, here's what we know. CBS News, Jane Crawford and Adam Vertigo have confirmed that those conditions include Trump's tweets come as Ford, her lawyers, and the Senate Judiciary negotiate her possible testimony next week. Ford has listed a set of requirements for her to testify. Number 1, Ford will not appear any sooner than next Thursday. Number 2, no questions to be asked at a hearing by any outside counsel, only senators. Number 3, Mark Judge must be subpoenaed. Mark Judge being a friend of Kavanaugh, who was supposedly present at this incident. Number 4, Kavanaugh would testify first, then Ford would testify, and Kavanaugh would have no opportunity to respond or rebut. Number 5, deadline for her to provide written statement before the hearing would be waived. Number 6, provide adequate security. Number 7, only one pool camera in hearing room. And number 8, Ford and Kavanaugh allotted the same amount of time to talk. Okay, so that's where we are. Now, someone brought this to my attention. Well, when I say someone, I mean Charlie Peach, okay? You know, I've talked about Charlie and I. We kick it about news issues, what's going on. As you know, Charlie Peach was very popular on Twitter. She has a very popular Medium account where she comments on the news cycle, what's happening, and she gives her unchecked, unfocused group analyzed opinion based on the facts, based on what she believes in these articles. And I'd like to share with you her piece on the Kavanaugh situation as it relates to Charles Blow, correspondent for, I think it's CNN? Or is he MSNBC? I forget which one he is. Okay, so because Charlie was like saying, Tim, you need to look at some of the other stuff out there about this, okay? And I'm like, okay. She says, well, there's evidence. There are a couple things about this whole situation that give her pause, and I just want to share them with you. The article that Charlie released today is him too. Hashtag him too. Charles Blow compares his childhood to that of a wealthy Christine Blasey Ford's. In the tear-filled story of his childhood sexual abuse, molestation, New York Times columnist Charles Blow delivered an impassioned plea on why Christine Blasey Ford should be believed. She says, I would have found what Blow had to say actually compelling had it not been so pathetically insulting and laughable. She said it was pathetically insulting and laughable. Okay. Strong words there, Charlie. I thought I had seen it all when it came to the depths that black liberals would go to protect their paymasters until I saw a gay black man comparing his past childhood abuse to that of a wealthy white woman. Unlike Charles Blow, Christine Blasey Ford attended a ritzy and mostly white high school, the Houghton Arms, and per her own yearbook, she outlines their ultimate goals with the land boys from the equally ritzy all-boys high school that Brett Kavanaugh attended. Blow boldly comparing himself being molested as a child to that of a wealthy, white, drunken teenager's alleged story of an attempted rape during an out-of-control teenage party is shameful. Now, okay, so as we get from this is that Charlie's not a big fan of Charles Blow, and to be totally transparent, neither am I. But she is talking about what Charles Blow did here. And what he did was he equated his own story of sexual abuse to that of an allegation made by Christine Ford. So there are some points here in this article, though, that kind of transcend even your feelings about Charles Blow, about his comparison, whatever that is. But there is a point here that she makes that I want to highlight, and if I can find this on the screen. Okay? It says here, fast forward to real life and Christine Blasey's entire online history, along with any recent images, were completely erased after coming forward with her secret interview with the Washington Post. I said, wow, that's interesting. Why would a person's total online history be rinsed away when she came forward? Unless there is something there that may be damaging to her story. Entire social media footprint gone once she came forward with her Washington Post. So she goes on, if her claims were credible, then there was no reason to erase her footprints. Footprints that chronicled the real story of who she was. I cannot stress enough the depth and reach it requires to completely have one's internet footprint erased. Not to mention why. Okay, so these are the types of, this gives doubt, like what's going on? Why would she do that? Why would Christine Ford's entire footprint be erased? Okay, so she goes on to say, however, like all things related to the internet, there are some things that still can be found. Blasey Ford's yearbook reads like any story we've ever read or heard, seen or read about the antics of rich white girls and boys. Her yearbook was replete with underage drinking binges, promiscuity, and even racism. Imagine Charles Blow comparing his childhood sexual abuse to that of a Christine Blasey Ford and the drunken parties, white privilege, and racism affords, and the young white girls who attended Houghton Arms Private High School. As the saying goes, boys will be boys, but there's a clear and dangerous history of vindictiveness of white women when it comes to false sexual allegations. What's even more dangerous is how white women have used feminism and sexism to make themselves victims in need of special rights, completely erasing their privilege in the process, all in the backs of black women and the civil rights. So I think that Charlie does make a point here. She does make a point. And then this gets even more interesting, guys, and this is where I must throw up red flags went up for me here when Charlie gave me this info that I'm about to share with you. Corcept Therapeutics, Corcept.com, manufacturers and markets an abortion pill drug called mifepristone. And Christine Blasey Ford is a co-author of at least 8 published scientific papers produced by the pharmaceutical giant to promote its pills. You can see Blasey's name listed on several publications at this Corcept.com webpage detailing their research papers. Here's a link to Corcept's website that shows Blasey's name on several research papers. The insulting story of her inability to remember where and when the alleged assault occurred, but knows she was 15 at the time and that Kavanaugh was 17 is laughable. Surely the good doctor, research psychologist, and biostatistician who teaches at Stanford and Palo Alto University knows that if she's clear on her age, that a simple math addition of the year she was born would tell her the exact year it allegedly happened. However, based on her yearbook writings and all of the out-of-control binge drinking and sex that was said to have occurred, you can clearly see why her foggy mind and facts are so skewed. All right, guys. All right. Now, as I told Charlie, I'm really concerned with the fact that this story hasn't been more circulated. There are only a few websites that even point to or make note of Christine Blasey Ford's connection to this pharmaceutical, to this pill, or her advocacy, or the papers she written for this abortion pill. And many have argued, though, that it's true that part of what the Democrats are doing is has a lot to do with abortion in Roe versus Wade. Is it possible there may be some other motives behind Blasey Ford? More than just stopping a attempted sexual predator person or whatever. Like, these are questions I can't answer. What I can tell you is that, to great effect, that Donald Trump's tweet today only helped the Democrats. I am conflicted because I don't think Kavanaugh will be an exceptional or even a good Chief Justice. At least not for the issues that I care about. I haven't seen anything showing that he even believes that climate change is a thing or that civil rights is something that need to be protected. But I also realize that there may be worse justices out there just waiting to come in that Trump could nominate after this if this spins out of control. So, yes, I'm conflicted in what the reality is and what's best for the country or what I even feel is best in this particular situation. But it's not about what I think is best. It's about what is true, right? So what we do know is allegations have been made. Are we going to get to the bottom of those allegations? Or we have any way of verifying it, validating it? Is it true that the Democrats have a vested interest in stopping Kavanaugh? Yes, they do. It is political gamesmanship. One of the things that does bother me is the stories in the real-life people that are being swept up into this by their tragedy, the tragic stories that they're retelling. It's very carefully orchestrated. But once again, this was given by Donald Trump. It's a gift by Donald Trump because Donald Trump sent out those tweets today. And don't get it twisted. I believe that Donald Trump felt like this was a good move to make, that he needed to get out in front and also call out Christine Ford and make the case that so many people in his base are thinking, which is, why'd you wait so long? Hey, you heard the women? You heard the women in that CNN clip. They were saying the same thing Trump was saying. They were saying, why did she wait so long? So obviously, come on, boys will be boys. But what this has done is created a firestorm that I don't see ending anytime soon. So yes, I fault Donald Trump. I do fault Donald Trump for his tweets today because I think that they are definitely going to mean that this story is going to keep going and keep going. And frankly, there's so many other things that I would love to talk about that I think are important, that are happening, that I can't even hardly find because this story is everywhere. I hate the fact that we're talking about something that's very personal to so many women and men alike who have suffered at the hands of someone who victimized them. And for whatever reason, that person was never brought to justice and maybe no one ever knew about it. And it's playing on that emotion. Now it's become the topic. That's become the focus and not Brett Kavanaugh, which was where the focus should be. It should be on Brett Kavanaugh and if he would be actually a good Chief Justice. But now we're talking about people's personal experiences. And now he's getting the weight of that victimizer. And I don't know if he's earned that. Now, he may not be a stand-up judge who defends my civil rights or your civil rights, but I don't know if he deserves all of the backlash for the guy who took advantage of you, the family member that betrayed your trust, or the stranger who should be locked under the jail. All right. Yeah. So as I look at this thing, guys, and I know it's going to be a lot of people that are going to say things that are saying things like Tim Black. Can't you see through this what they're doing to Donald Trump? Can't you see what's happening with Donald Trump right now? Well, to those people, I would say Donald Trump is part of the problem here. Donald Trump incites the masses using that damn Twitter and gets us all distracted on things that don't matter. Why does he want Kavanaugh? What what means, what good will he do the country really? I don't know. Like, make that case. Make that case, not make that case on the backs of humiliating this woman. Let that go to trial, and let's make your case about your appointee. That's where I think it should be. And it's got me thinking. I was watching Kevin Hart earlier, and I was thinking that this was so timely.
Your fuck up. Take responsible for your fuck up.
That's what I was thinking about it when I was listening to Trump. Yeah, Trump he's definitely effing up, that's for sure. And then I was also thinking that this Kevin Hart clip applies to more than just Donald Trump. It also applies to the Democratic Party, because the Democrats had an opportunity to push it, to appoint a justice. And when they had that opportunity, they picked a milquetoast neoliberal judge by the name of Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland had no one excited. Not even Merrick Garland was excited about Merrick Garland. They had an opportunity. And then they had an opportunity to get someone who was truly progressive, which I don't think they would have taken. I think they wanted a moderate, because they were Republican like themselves. But if only they would have ran someone like Bernie Sanders, who actually could have defeated Trump instead of Hillary Clinton. And that's why I say the Democratic Party blew it. So for all the Democrats who are pissed off that we're even in this situation where we even have confirmation hearings for Brett Kavanaugh, I think Kevin Hart applies again. Very relevant.
Your fuck up. Take responsible for your fuck up.
Thank you, Kevin Hart. From the book of Kevin. Oh, come on, man. And while I deal with all this and while I try to make sense of it, I'm reminded of the great Tiffany Haddish. Because Tiffany Haddish has such a, an optimistic view of the world. She is always outgoing and cheerful, and she's just there to make you laugh. And she's had a week of people coming at her based on the comments of Cat Williams. And the way that she responded is the way I would like all of us to respond. Remain in good cheer, remain happy, and keep smiling, because they don't deserve you getting upset for not even 1 minute. They haven't paid enough money to take up rent in your brain. So shout out to Tiffany Haddish and the way she's treated her week. The way she just let that stuff roll off her back. She ain't tripping. Tiffany ain't tripping. So anyway, guys, that's it, man. That is truly it for today's show. Look, tonight, if you say Tim Black, you missed some stuff. I don't know, man. You missed a piece. You should have got this. You should have got that. Hey, don't worry. Tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you get to call into the show. You can say whatever's on your mind. I did my best to bring you the news of what's happening with Brett Kavanaugh. I think I did that. You may not leave this show thinking anything different than what you thought when you came in, but at least now you know. You know that Trump sent out these tweets and people have responded, and there are a lot of GOP or Trump supporters or conservative women out there who think he's right, and they thought he was right before he made the comment. What a world. All right, guys. Remember, this show is brought to you by you. All right? So if you haven't pitched in for this show, hey, man, it's on you, because it's your show. If you want to become a member of the show, go to patreon.com, Tim's Take Live. I'm also available on Roku. We're going to roll out our promotions to let people be aware of it, but you can find me on Roku now. It's a beautiful thing. See you tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace. Good gracious, boy. Something else, baby, something else. Coffee with Tim Black. Coffee with Tim Black. That's right.